It's all in the one room, so you've got your seminar spaces in the edges of the room, then you've got the bars in the middle, and all around that the exhibition. So you can grab a beer, you can walk into a seminar, you can walk and speak to a supplier.
Of course, the big question is which malt was used.
The fact is that I'm dealing with people who are passionate about their job. I'm helping people.
I enjoy meeting people, talking to new people, meeting new people, hearing people's journeys, what they've done, where they've come from.
So to see this here today with all of these stands and so many people is just phenomenal. How far it's come, it's amazing.
Hello and welcome to We Are Beer People, a podcast all about the many different people who help us enjoy beer. I'm your host, Rob Cadwell, and I reckon if you're listening to this, then there's a good chance that you are one of the beer people too. You might be involved in the world of beer, you may want to find out more about the industry, or perhaps you simply enjoy drinking the stuff. So join me now as I have a chat with some of the beer people. Today we have a special episode where I headed to SIBA, that's the Society of Independent Brewers and Associates, annual AGM conference and exhibition BeerX in Liverpool, where I got to meet many of the fantastic beer people. It includes brewers, suppliers, associates, as well as speakers, and is one of the few times when brewers get a chance to take a moment and meet each other. A big thank you to Ken and Adam at Mysterious Brewing, who invited me to join them, and hopefully they didn't regret that decision. Whilst I was there though, I had a short chat with 5 of the beer people. So today we'll hear from Neil Walker, Head of Comms and Marketing at SIBA, Axel Yarni from Vireman Maltsters, John Cox, who works at Willis European, who makes stainless steel brewing, bottling and processing equipment, Tom Bacon from Bathhouse X, and Paul Corbett from Charles Farram. We talk about how they got into their role, what their role is like and what they've been excited to be talking about and sharing at SIBA BeerX. So with that, grab yourself a beer and let's go have a chat with some of the beer people. And first, we headed over to speak with Neil at SIBA.
So I'm Neil Walker, I'm Head of Comms and Marketing at SIBA, so I head up anything to do with branding and promotion and marketing of not only the company but also of our members.
Yeah.
SIBA's very much an amplifier of our membership, so we've got a fantastic number of breweries that are involved, lots of supplier associate companies, lots of which are exhibiting here today. So I think BeerX really is a big advert for everything that SIBA does. It's the biggest and best thing we do, I think. This year's our biggest ever. So over 3,000 registered delegates this year, as opposed to just over 2,000 last year, so massively up. Also our highest number of exhibitors, and lots of exhibitors with very big stands this year as well. We've had to make the reception desk smaller to fit in some extra space.
Something had to give.
Things like that. So yeah, good problems to solve. And obviously, as always, a kind of packed schedule of seminars, talks, panel debates, tastings, which for a small team, we're 8 full-time members of staff, SIBA, and we don't have a kind of specialist team that helicopter in for this. It's we're doing this as well as our day job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big ask for the team, and it's we're incredibly proud of what we've achieved with BeerX over the years and what we've achieved this year particularly. Taking it from already being the biggest beer trade event in the UK to make it even bigger, and we've got aspirations for next year to be 50% bigger. So we're currently in 2 halls. I know it looks like one big hall, but it is 2, and to move into 3 next year.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we will be run off our feet this time next year, and very much looking forward to it.
Would that be to increase exhibitors or experiential spaces and that kind of thing?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
So I think once we kind of get that floor plan and start drawing it up, it'll be an expansion of what we've got now rather than a total change to the event.
Yeah.
We've got exhibitors here who actually would happily take out larger stands. You need to have a balance. So what we don't want is one massive stand that is totally dwarfing other exhibitors and things like that. But actually, by going to 3 halls, we've got a bit more breathing space. You can get some more big equipment in here. We can have some more fermenters and things like
I'm
that.
seriously impressed, Steve. This is my first year here, but you walk around and there's like a brew house, kind of in one part a massive fermenter, and another part a big CO2 tank and all that sort of stuff. But just great to see it. And then I can only imagine the logistics of getting some of those things.
Not easy. And actually, speaking to the brewers, they use this as an opportunity to touch base with all of their supplier companies, all of the other companies that they work with, from hop merchants, maltsters, to, like you say, people making canning lines, people making breweries. So you can shop for everything in the brewery in one place, and we want to make that shop bigger next year.
I think it truly shows what SIBA's about, in the sense of we're all in this together as different parts. We couldn't do it with just brewers, just maltsters, just hop providers, or anything like that. We're all in this, and we're stronger when we're doing that together.
No, 100%. And I think we're quite keen for this event to be lots of things at once. We don't want it to be, okay, over there in that hall is where the beer festival is, and over there is where the serious stuff happens. It's all in the one room, so you've got your seminar spaces kind of in the edges of the room, then you've got the bars in the middle, and around that the exhibition. So you can grab a beer, you can walk into a seminar, you can walk and speak to a supplier. It's nice and free flowing, and that's been one of the biggest changes moving it here. We did it in Sheffield previously, and we really enjoyed being in Sheffield, but the venue itself was logistically difficult. It was two big halls on an ice rink essentially, and that meant that you had a separation between, for want of a better word, the fun stuff and the business stuff. And here that doesn't happen, and I think that's one of the best things as well. I also want to say a massive thank you to the team here at the ACC at the Exhibition Centre Liverpool, because they are superb. We are not an easy event to work with. We have lots of messy beer, we have lots of people wandering around with a beer in their hand, and they are incredibly accommodating. They bend over backwards and just make our life very easy. So they've been excellent, and since we've been here, we're not saying that we're always going to be in Liverpool, but we struggle to find something better. Having Liverpool itself on our doorstep is a big draw as well. It's a great city to go out for a beer.
What would you say is your highlights of SIBA BeerX so far?
It's tough. I think for me so far, it was definitely listening to Bob Pease from Brewers Association yesterday. I was lucky enough to take him out for dinner the night before, and was having a chat with him. Just an incredibly kind of inspiring guy, and really down to earth. So he's been an absolute open book with us when it comes to the Brewers Association. We like to think of them as a kind of sister organisation to SIBA. I suppose a big sister.
He heads up the equivalent in the States.
Exactly. Brewers Association in America, they're very much the kind of equivalent of SIBA over there on a much bigger scale. It's it's America, everything's bigger. But they're all independent breweries, all craft breweries, and they've really kind of they've been very open with us about everything from how they make the money to how they see the organisation developing, the pitfalls. So they've been really helpful. That was great. Also listening to Pete Brown's beer and music match.
Did enjoy that one,
Brilliant.
That's good.
Who knew that Debaser by the Pixies went with Devel?
Now we know.
We know, and it works really well. I think what we always try to do with this event, we've got a very experienced brewing audience. So when we're doing the tastings, you can't really just stand up there and say, right, we're going to do a taster mild and an IPA and a stout. You've got to have something a bit different. So that is, that gets ever challenging every year.
Every year you're raising the bar, so you then have to keep do it again. So we've done blindfolded beer tastings in the past, although I've been told that logistically we're never doing that again because you've got a blindfolded audience. You have to put every single beer in the hand. Reach out. But there's definitely a risk assessment and health and safety to go along with all that.
Beer and music. Pete's an old pro. He's got that down to a fine art. So he was brilliant yesterday. That was really, really popular. Standing room only. So very good.
And if we zoom out a little bit from BeerX, what are you excited about for the year ahead?
Lots going on as ever. From my personal point of view, so my area of the business, we've just launched our rebrand yesterday. So SIBA's been around since 1980. We have evolved over that time, not only in terms of how we look and who we are, but also who we represent. So we were really keen to acknowledge the associate membership. So that is, the supplier companies, but also our new associate members, who are the home brewers and those international breweries. So we've rebranded as Society of Independent Brewers and Associates, and also got a kind of fresh new look in that. I was really pleased to stand up yesterday and talk about why we did that, the inspiration around the project. So we're going to be getting out there and shouting about it this year, doing some activation, getting some beer festivals, getting some industry events. We're working with Imbibe Live to present a kind of indie beer showcase there with our members, and it's things like that. We see ourselves as that amplification of our membership, and I think the new brand really presents that in a clear way.
It does, it looks obviously flexible as well, and showed a trailer in the AGM today of the indie beer graphic that you're looking to obviously trademark first and then roll out. But that looks like, again, a really good tool to differentiate independent beer from other beer on the market.
No, 100%. I mean, it's building on the work we did previously on our independence seal. So we launched in 2016, believe it or not, quite a while ago now. 2016, our Assured Independent British Craft Brewer seal.
Yep.
As you can tell by me saying that long sentence, it's a little bit wordy.
Yeah.
It was a little bit fiddly, and it didn't. Whilst the job it was doing, it did a great job. It didn't reduce down particularly well. It was quite hard to read on some labels when it was, very, very small on the back of the can. So we've rectified that, and we're launching this new seal, which is much bolder, much clearer. You can reduce that right down, and you're going to be able to see it. So it's just a refresh. And actually, that new kind of independent seal, it's like I say, we haven't launched yet. We're going to be launching probably about 6 weeks' time.
Yep.
It kind of ties in with the new branding and this kind of fresher new look that just better represents where the industry is, I think.
And again, you said you do this on top of your day job, so organising BeerX, but what's like a typical week for you looking after kind of marketing and comms?
A typical week is there never is.
What is a typical week?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been working on big projects over the last couple of months. I'm quite looking, BeerX, the rebrand.
Nice.
I'm quite looking forward to getting back and doing the day job, which is getting our members into events, running our beer festivals. We're now doing more beer festivals than ever before. So we've always run competitions, but we've always tended to run those competitions off the back of other beer festivals. We're now starting to do our own. So we did Indie Beer Scotland for the second time last year. So that's really successful. We're now looking at potentially doing a Indie Beer North East, Indie Beer North West, Indie Beer London potentially. Really excited about that. And also, helping our members get into places where it would be too expensive for them to do it on their own. So, we sponsor things like the British Guild of Beer Writers Awards. We're also going to be at Imbibe Live, as I mentioned. And, as a small brewery to go and do that, it's prohibitively expensive. But by working together, kind of pooling our resources, SIBA centrally putting some money into things like that, we can get our members in those rooms. And that's something I'm really proud of. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that this year.
Where can people stay up to date with everything SIBA?
At SIBA.co.uk, and
That's a good
also
start.
our social media. So we've been pushing social media massive over the last couple of days. I want to shout out to Lawrence Creamer, who comes and helps us for this event. We could not do this event without him. It's social media is a massive, massive part of what we're doing. And again, we're trying to push out there, get to as many people as possible, recruit new members, talk to our existing members. But SIBA.co.uk is the place to find out everything. Or drop me an email.
Excellent. Well, a big thank you to you, Neil, and thank you to the rest of the SIBA team as well for putting this all on. And it's such a great event. So cheers from us.
Really appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me to talk.
Thank you. I then made my way over to the Vireman stand to have a chat with Axel Yarni, who's the international sales consultant.
Well, thanks for stopping by. As you said, we're busy. SIBA X24 seems to be very nice, well attended, lots of enthusiastic British brewers to talk to. And I'm Axel Yarni. I'm a trained brewer and maltster. I've got a brewing degree from Valby, Berlin, and I'm at Vireman, one of the malting and brewing experts. So our role is to fly around the world and visit our distribution partners as well as brewing customers around the globe and give technical support in terms of recipe development, which malts to use, all of the questions that they may have, and that's my role. So
that sounds like the perfect job, though, getting to go out and see all of your customers, see what they're brewing, and see how you can help them with your malt.
Exactly, that is true. For a brewer, that is a perfect combination of seeing the world and drinking beers and building bridges between the malt house in Bamberg and the brewers around the globe. So when I go there and we might brew a beer together, they come back to Bamberg and we do a collaboration brew there. So it is a close knit.
You might have a good perspective on this then if you're going to lots of different countries, but are people using your malts in different ways in different markets, do you think, or do you think it's the same sort of way that people use your malts in their beers?
Good question. I mean, we supply currently into 136 countries. And yes, maybe the Asians are emphasizing more on Cara Pils or Cara Hell, something that is counterbalancing rice, for example, so they need something that gives maltiness. Whereas in America, the heirloom varieties, that lager revival, you see a lot of American brewers now brewing marvelous and rounded and balanced lager beers. But of course, by using Vireman terroir or unique heirloom varieties, they see that it's in such a delicate beer style, like a Helles,
Yep.
you want to have something unique and shining through.
Yeah.
So that's something where we see a lot of use of specialty malts.
And the malt has to tell more of the story in those beers.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, because we don't need, the hop side is there too, but it's not as hop forward.
Yeah.
And on an IPA, the base malt was not as important because the hop was shining. But I also say even in an IPA, or having a nice malt cushion underneath, is like a nice combination of.
Yeah, you can't really have one without the other, I think.
Correct. Correct.
It's that balance, isn't it? And
yes.
Especially if you've got elevated hops, you need your malts to be able to rise to that as well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Fantastic. So, what have you been excited to share with people at BeerX?
At BeerX, this year I think it's been nice to get the feedback from last year, where we first brought out our Isaria 1924, which is the oldest two-row spring barley variety. Last year I saw a lot of interest in these malts like Eraclea for an Italian Pilsner.
Nice.
Where you are having an Italian-grown barley with a terroir. It's grown above Venice, and we bring that grain to Bamberg and malt it into Eraclea Pilsner malt. And this malt was received well in discussions last year, and now I reap the harvest by getting great feedbacks from brewers saying, "Oh, I tried it out. It was so nice. It was
That's really cool.
A revelation to say, yeah, I have a lager which is crisp and highly attenuated and not too malty, because customers are expecting a very refreshing one, for example.
Yeah. Something that makes you want to have that other sip.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and that's nice to see and to hear the feedback of their brewing experience with these malts.
Fantastic. And what is it that you like about BeerX?
Well, I like the combination. I mean, with SIBA and the beers and the competition. I did judge last year in the SIBA competition. Yeah. This year I was planning to, but the German airplane was on strike, so I had to change planes and arrived way too late for any judging. So I missed it this time. But especially now with day 2 and the upcoming awards, it's always exciting. It's a good combination with the one hall set up by talking to the brewers, with the other suppliers, and then having the beers throughout the day, and then later, especially once we know who did win.
Absolutely,
and of course, the big question is which malt was used.
That's it, yeah. And I have to ask you, so you're a commercial brewer in your past. What's your favourite beer to brew? If I have to make you pick one.
Pick one, okay. I'd say, it is a lager. I must say, a lager beer is the challenge, because you can't hide a lot of mistakes that the brewer might have had during fermentation or whatever. So it is a tough one to brew. But I'm also within that category. I think the low ABV ones are the most interesting. And I always admired how the British brewers had low ABV beers. In Germany, everything is and in Germany everything is around the 5.0 mark, 5.1. But here to have a flavorful 3.5% one, that's nice. And this is like where you say, wow, you don't need the alcohol, because as a brewer we're always thirsty. So I do appreciate a 10% imperial porter, but not on this.
On the sessions.
No, correct.
Exactly.
So, but by having something light and still refreshing and feeling complex, that is my favorite.
It's getting the best of everything at that point. Just a huge thank you very much for joining me, Axel.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
And from malts, we're now going to head over to the shiny stainless steel and chat with John Cox at Willis European.
Yeah, so my name's John, as I say, from Willis European. We're based in Wolverhampton. I am with sales, so I'm going up and down the country, going in to see people, just getting our name out there, helping with installations, with new projects that we're into as well. So trying to get into a bit of everything within the company, really.
What is it that Willis European does?
Willis European, so we supply vessels for breweries, with vineyards. We're involved with dairy, anything like that needs a stainless steel vessel. We can produce and manufacture all of that. Fits the customer's needs, however you need it. If it's due to space reasons, you need it slightly differently, we'll adapt and help you as much as possible. So say we do vessels, we do bottling lines, canning lines, anything you need for the brewery.
Fantastic. So the common thread there being stainless steel and how you can design it to make something really useful.
Yeah, perfect.
We're stood here with some very shiny stainless steel as well, so I'm not sure it always looks like this in the brew house.
It was a bit of elbow grease put into
it looks very fantastic. And as we're here, there's an admiring crowd looking at them as well, so it always draws people in.
Always draws people in. As I said, they're stunning looking tanks. Everyone always says how good they are. They work fantastic, and people are always very happy with them.
Are they something that's kind of evolved over time, or you kind of take iterations and stuff as feedback?
Yep, so after feedback, we've adapted slightly. So we've got like our rotating racking arm, it's all on a glanded seal, so no one doing tri-clamps. It's nice and easy just to move them around. The hop addition supports on the top. People like that, so it's nice and easy to add the dry hops in as well. And it's just, it's been designed with the brewer in mind. So our brewery engineer, Ian, he's been brewing for 40 plus years, so he's really put his mind into this and made the tanks what they are today, and really proud of how they've come out.
And what is it that you've been sharing to, the last couple of days, and what you've been excited to share?
Yeah, so as I say, we've been speaking to a lot of people recently about breweries, so we've just recently installed a brewery into the Isle of Man, so that's been a big thing for us. It's been really nice to be able to get back out and go do things like that. So we've been helping people, tell them how we can design a brewery to how they want it and need it, not just off the shelf, there you go, that's what you're going to have. We will put you in mind, we'll come over, design it and everything like that. So really happy just to get back out and speak to people again as well.
And what is it that you really like about BeerX?
I enjoy meeting people, talking to new people, meeting new people, hearing people's journeys, what they've done, where they've come from and how they've got on and how they're achieving and doing really well in the industry. So it's really nice to hear and chat to people. See what everyone's going on about, all the different stands as well, meet other people.
It's a good place to be, isn't it?
Exactly, everyone's happy to be here, everyone's smiley, jolly, it's a really nice atmosphere and they're doing a really good job of it. So
how can everyone stay up to date with everything that Willis European's up to?
Willis European, so we've got Facebook and Instagram are our main ones, so we're trying to get more lively on there at the moment, but we've got all of our projects that we're working on, they're all going to go up on Instagram, so that's going to be the main bit, as I say, and Facebook, so we can catch all the journey all on there. Keeping it to that a lot more with those ones.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying our chat, and if you like what you're hearing, there are a few things you can do that really help us out and help other people find the podcast. Follow or subscribe to We Are Beer People wherever you get your podcasts and leave a review or rating, or share the episode on your socials or even in actual real life. And if you want to stay up to date with all things We Are Beer People, you can visit our website at wearebeerpeople.co.uk, where you can sign up for a monthly newsletter. And you can follow us on social media at We Are Beer People. And if you have any questions or comments or want to hear from any beer people, then pop me a message. Now, back to the podcast. And now we're going to head over to Tom Bacon at hop supplier Bathhouse X.
So I'm Tom. I have been with Bathhouse for about 18 months now, and I look after small to medium-sized breweries. So guys who are home brewing out of the back of a shed up to about 5-barrel plants. So the fun people is who I deal with.
Excellent. The innovators.
Yes, the guys who are doing either stupid things or great things.
Fantastic. And how long have you been at Bathhouse for?
So I've been here 18 months. Previous to this, I was with Wander Beyond for just over 2 years, and then before that I worked for various breweries, but the one that people seem to remember me for, I was with Brew York for just under 3 years.
Excellent. And the best bit about your job?
Best bit?
Whilst all your colleagues are looking at you.
I was going to say, we're all staring at us, and I meant to say the people, aren't I?
Big
really?
tick there.
I mean, the fact is that I'm dealing with people who are passionate about their job. I'm helping people. It's not a traditional sort of sales role, because I'm talking to people and solving problems, and these people are so thankful and appreciative of working together. Like, the entire community that we have in craft beer is just kind of remarkable. I think that it's such a collaborative and hard-working and passionate and innovative, and it's amazing what these small guys can do with a budget of 20 quid and a pack of crisps and turning out some of the incredible beers. I mean, the one that I'll just give a quick shout out to is Trig Brewery in York, brewing on like a 50-litre kit, producing some of the best hazy IPAs I've had in a year, and it's just fantastic to see those guys.
It's really good to see. Absolutely, and there's a huge amount of innovation as well coming out in hops, so it's not just cones and pellets anymore, is it?
No.
There's a huge amount going out there to help brewers push the envelopes a bit and save money, create more value whilst they're doing it.
So I think the main issue that we're seeing over the past 4 years especially, as well as the energy crisis, is also climate change. We're essentially an agricultural firm, so all that we're kind of working with is the crops that we have. So like, if you look at the German harvest, that's been down about a third year on year for the past 4 years as climate change is happening. So we're introducing more German varieties that are tasting the same, that can survive a drought and survive the pests, survive not being used with pesticides, and survive just for changing environments, and also trying to keep the costs down. And the other thing that we're seeing, and something that we've kind of been spearheading in the industry, is the creation of liquid hop products. So that's 30 years ago, you'd just be given a cone of hops and it was like, oh, cool beans, mate. So that'll stay fresh for about 2 weeks before it turns to cheese and rots. And then we started drying them, and that lasts a little bit longer, and then we turn them into T90s and pellets, most people call them. That keeps fresh for about 2 years. And then we had enhanced pellets, which is your Lupamax or your Cryo from YCH or CGX from Lofgren's. I feel like I should give my competitors a shout out. And what we're doing now is taking the next logical step with Spectrum and Incognito, which is just the whole hop with the vegetative bit taken out. So it's more efficient, it's more stable, it's better for the brewers, it's easier to use, and you get a better product at the end of it as well.
What's your favourite hop at the moment?
Oh, I mean, do I go for the corporate line or the actual? The corporate line would be one of our fantastic German varieties that is coming out, probably the Tango, which is really pushing it forward.
You even had the voice as well,
Absolutely.
the corporate voice.
My favourite hop's Cascade, by far. I just think it's the absolute perfect hop. Put into a bitter, put into a stout, pale ale, IPA, Cascade's always been the one. I'm quite interested in some of the new stuff that's coming out of America, like the HBC program, and the Australian hops I think are massively underrated, like Eclipse and Enigma, but my heart will always be with Cascade.
That's good. Love it. Love a bit of Cascade. And we're here at BeerX today. So what are the sort of best conversations you've been having with people?
I mean, like what I was saying, I deal with the small guys, so it's just great to see people coming in here when they've still got hope in their eyes and they're just starting out on their journey and they're pushing it forwards and they're excited to talk to people and find out more about the kits. And it's just great when they're going, oh, I know that we're only small, but it's like, but you guys, like, the one I always say is Beavertown started out in
Everyone
2
starts
buckets.
off small,
On Northern Monk as well started out tiny. Very few breweries have come in and we've been, oh yes, we've just bought a 20-barrel kit. And I just love seeing that optimism. Like, don't get us wrong, the past couple of years has been hard for the industry, and are we out of it, the worst of it? I think we're out of the worst of it, and we're just seeing those beautiful green shoots finally coming up above. We're talking to a lot of brewers, like February and January has been a lot better than what I was expecting, and that's really not reinvigorated the industry, but given everyone, I think, a lot of more hope. And that's the main thing I'll take away from this, is how it's turned from pessimism last year to just that little bit of hope.
Absolutely. And how can people keep up to date with you and everything to do with Bathhouse X?
I mean, I am the Smoky Bacon on every platform,
channel,
everything. Follow me on Twitter, where I just rant about things, and Instagram, where you can see which godforsaken city I've been sent to that week. And with Bathhouse X, we're Bathhouse X on all socials, and follow us and keep up to date.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Cheers very much, mate.
Have a good one. And now from one hop supplier to another, as we chat with Paul Corbett at Charles Ferrum.
I'm Paul Corbett. I'm MD at Charles Ferrum. Been there 35 years and seen the business develop from a couple of people up to nearly 50 people we employ now. And we're here today to talk about some exciting developments that we've had in the business. The first one really is our breeding program, which we were talking about yesterday morning. Lots of brewers come along very excited about new British varieties of hops, which are hopefully going to be the hops of the future for British brewers, local hops grown for local brewers. So we're very excited about that. We've got some varieties that we've been developing which have more intensity of flavour and more fruity aromas, the aromas you sort of associate with New World or American or New Zealand hops. The British market really hasn't had those sort of varieties available, and our goal since 2009, when we started the program, was to bring in new varieties that would give those intense flavours with the tropical fruit flavours that we currently can't get from those British hops. So that's really exciting. The challenge has always been the British climate, and we never quite know whether the terroir of British hop area would allow us to grow intense fruity hops, because sunlight hours, the rain that we get, all those sort of things, would that allow us to get those really amazing flavours coming through into the hops? And we've already gone farther than we thought we would. So when we first started out, we thought we might get a few, more fruity ones, but we've actually, yesterday I was sat there tasting CF321 in a beer that Buxton had brewed among 4 others, and it gave me goosebumps. That's how excited I was about the flavours that we could taste in the beer that Buxton produced. So a wow moment for us. Now the big challenge is to get that brewed by other people and to see how that performs in other beers. We don't want to just take it from one beer, that's the right thing to do. But once we know, 4 or 5 brewers say to us, this is a really good hop, we can then start to think about where we plant the next field of this new variety. And we've got to give it a name, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. It's such a long process, though, isn't it? Because you're working years and years in advance down the line to
absolutely.
Identify opportunities and, I guess, funnel that down to the one that could be that really good hop.
Plant about 15,000 seedlings every year. The selection process, obviously, any disease susceptibility that the plants have has to be picked up very early, because we don't want to be planting new varieties that are difficult to grow or need a lot of pesticides or chemicals added to sprayed onto them to control the diseases. We want varieties that have got a natural, robust resistance to the disease, so that they're easier to grow. We want something that's going to be higher yielding. We want something that's going to have obviously lots of flavour, brew well, but also picking machine qualities, such as a smaller, rounder cone that will roll nicely on the belts, on the hop picking belts with the picking machine. So all these little things, it's a bit like trying to find a needle in a haystack, to be honest with you, because there's so many little bits we're looking for. But as we refine it, we get, I suppose it's a bit like a horse racing stable. When you get a champion hurdler or a champion, very apt as we're in Gold Cup week, you then breed from that horse to get the offspring, which you hope will have the same sort of qualities or better than the parents. And that's exactly what we're doing with hops. We're taking the best from the current generation of hops and then crossing them and getting newer, more intense flavours. Every year we seem to be getting more, 5 to 10% more aroma and flavour coming through. So it takes time, but the progression we can see, so it gives us encouragement. And particularly yesterday with that goosebump moment, I think that was sort of something that really made it all worthwhile,
And you also announced your partnership as well.
Yeah, we're delighted with that. Friends at YCH, we've known for a long time, and we started chatting about 3 or 4 months ago and thought about the partnership and how it might work, and if there's anything that we could help them with, they could help us with. And certainly with Brexit, it seems to have caused them a few issues with their Belgium shipments coming from their main office there and warehouses in Belgium. We've got restrictions coming up on our contracts for Citra and Mosaic, so we thought it would be a very opportune moment to talk. We've also got no access to things like cryo, which are very popular, and some of the downstream products that Yakima Chief are working on. So there's a really good mix there where we both win. It's a win-win, and we think it's a win for brewers as well, which is probably the most important part of all this, that brewers can access hops from them directly from us quickly and easily from the UK, rather than having to wait a few days to get
in the same way they'd order from you normally.
Yes, exactly. We've built our reputation on customer service and good supplies, getting the best quality hops we can, and this is just another extension of that. Supplying those hops to brewers when they need them, making sure they're in stock. It's going to be a bit shaky to start with, I think, because we don't know what volumes that we need to get in. But once we've got that pattern worked out, then we should have good supplies to those going on into the future.
Brilliant.
So that's a very exciting development for us.
Fantastic. So you've had loads to share with delegates then over the last few days.
Loads of questions from from people, lots of new beers to drink with the different flavours in, and lots of ideas about, well, we've actually decided we need to put an FAQ together about the YCH agreement, because there's so many questions coming from different people about what's going to happen with this, how will my contract work, how will the deliveries work, all this sort of stuff. So we're getting a lot of feedback about what people are looking for, and the good thing is it's really positive. You know, we've got lots of people going, "Oh, that's fantastic. If we can get them from you, that would be great." You know, so
brilliant.
Very excited.
Excellent.
Very excited.
And what are you most excited about BeerX? What's your favourite thing about BeerX?
You know, I was kind of expecting to be a bit quieter this year when I came in. Last year, I think, was the best BeerX ever. I've been going to what used to be the SIBA AGM since 1995, something around there, where it was I remember one of the RCH brewery in Burnham-on-Sea, in the Skittle Alley, where there was me, a maltster, and an equipment supplier, with our booths along the Skittle Alley. So to see this here today with all of these stands and so many people is just phenomenal.
Yeah, how far it's come.
How far it's come, it's amazing. You know, that's an indication of how well the craft industry is done in the UK. The industry has really grown, and we've grown with it. You know, without that industry, without the brewers having those successes, we would be in the same Skittle Alley, doing the same things now as we did back then.
Absolutely.
So this is a real testament to all the work that SIBA and all the brewers have put in over that time. And we love it because it's a great opportunity to meet lots of people in one place, tell them what we're doing and how we're doing it, and just catch up, chew the fat, you know, talk about mundane things as well, about how the family and, you know,
that's it. And don't often get the chance to do that when everyone's sort of head down in the day-to-day stuff. Well, but again, days like this, it's a reminder, as you say, all these people in the room here are sort of stronger when they work together and can create these, you know, amazing things, these amazing communities and amazing beers.
Absolutely, you know, and we met some of our hop grower friends as well here today, and we've been talking to them about what our plans are, how we can work together as an industry to get a better result for the brewers as well. I sit on the British Hop board, and we're talking about the strategy for British hops going forward, on how we can make it more perfect for brewers to come and use the hops, what we need to do to make that program work better. We've got two programs we're running currently with the breeding program. One is with our own, which we were talking about yesterday, but we also work with Clara Hadju at Y Hops, and Clara this year has selected some plants to take seeds from. And with the program we're sponsoring, she's putting in a lot of seedlings for this year, so the seeds will all be planted and the seedlings will be growing this spring, and that's the next phase. So we've got another breeding program with a different genetic line to the one we're currently working, going on with Y Hops. So that is something also exciting for us that we're sponsoring. We're not as involved with this as we are with our program, but we're sponsoring quite heavily to give the British industry a good chance of getting some new varieties that will attract brewers to using them.
That's it. And I guess you need those trends, don't you? So you need to be creating the hops that brewers want to use to create more demand for hops, and it's that circular.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, don't get me wrong, we love American hops, we love New Zealand hops, we love all the flavours that these hops can produce, you know, and I was instrumental in bringing over Nelson Sauvon to the UK.
Thank you.
2006, 2007, I was responsible for bringing the first Citra into the UK in 2009. So we've done a lot of work, and Cascade before that actually, so we've done a lot of work in offering brewers more choice.
Yeah.
And I think the British industry has suffered a little bit, because in the past it was great at supplying Buggles and Goldings and Challenger and all these wonderful varieties that go into bitters, milds, those very traditional flavours. They're just amazing for that. But we didn't have that end of the market that the American hops and the New Zealand hops started to feed. So we've now started to say, right, okay, we need to fill that palette of flavours so that a brewer can not just select from Goldings and Fuggles, but also can have these extra flavours on the other side of the palette as well, if you like. Yeah. So that's what the breeding programme with firms and the one at BHA are looking to address.
Fantastic. So huge amounts to be excited about there.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzed up here, to be honest with you. It's been a fantastic couple of days, and meeting people, talking about what you're doing, it gives you confidence that
it lifts you up?
forward. It
Yeah.
lifts you up. It does actually lift you up. I know that the industry is in quite a difficult place at the moment, and I think everybody you speak to here is saying, yeah, sales are okay, not going so great. We're going to get through it. And I think when you have a chance to chat to people and you feel their passion and what they're looking for and how they can take it forward, then it gives you confidence to do your part of it as well.
So thank you very much for joining me. Where
Pleasure.
can people stay up to date with everything Charles Fareham?
Well, we do have a Fareham podcast as well that is on the Spotify and all the
platforms.
Yep. On our website, there's access to that. We have the YouTube channel, and our web shop has got all the latest products in as well. So there's lots of information about different hop varieties, and the YCH products will be on there soon as well. So there's all the information you'll need on that platform.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
It's great to speak to you. Thank you.
Cheers. Take care. Bye.
So, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you can join me on the next one. And this is the part where I ask for your help. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review or rating, or share it with others. This really helps us out and helps other people find the podcast, particularly as we're starting out. And you can follow us on social media, search for We Are Beer People, all one word. You can also email us at wearebeerpeoplepod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Share your thoughts, and if you have any recommendations for beer people you'd like to hear from. And until next time, don't forget, you, me, us, them, we are all beer people.